recap of the last lecture, as always. In the last lecture, we discussed what? We discussed the prevalence of patriarchy and the sexual division of labor in the West or globally. And we began with the statement from the UN report which said that women, though they constitute half of the world's population and put in literally 2/3 of the work hours, yet they only earn 10% of the world's income and own less than 1% of the world's property. Now, this statement, friends, frankly, has also come into significant criticism lately, right? And there have been several men who have, or men or people who have, criticized it as a feminist myth, which does not have an empirical basis. Nevertheless, it is a quote-worthy kind of a statement, given that it has been mentioned in, reputed organizations' reports. Then we discussed the nature of patriarchy. Or patriarchy is a system wherein men oppress, exploit, and control women, as Sylvia Walby defines it. Then we talked about how in the economy the women are disadvantaged. They get paid less for the same work. They face sexual harassment at the workplace. Well, men define the workplace as male territory through sexual harassment. We discussed sexualization of women's work in many industries like hospitality industry, airlines, etc., modeling, advertising. We discussed what else? That female labor force participation rate is lesser. We discussed the impact of industrialization on the position of women. So in pre-industrial society, women were an integral part of the production system. And if you have to summarize in one line, okay, because you have very limited space in the answer sheet, you would say that the primary or the main impact of industrial revolution on women in the West was the emergence of the mother housewife role as the primary social role for women, right? And this stuck even when they started entering the workforce in large numbers in the period between the two world wars. Since then, more and more number of women have entered the in the labor force, but this does not has not demolished or sufficiently challenged patriarchy. Reason being, though Marxist scholars, including Engels, considered that it would, right, as the working class woman starts earning outside the home, she will be able to liberate herself from patriarchal controls. But this has not happened. Reasons being that women have entered a specifically women's jobs market and competing with other women rather than men. That women's jobs are attributed lower pay scales, lower prestige, and are often of a temporary character. We discussed the notion of reserve army of labor in Marxism used by Marxist feminists who contend that women constitute an important, scholars like Veronica Vici, that women are an important part of the reserve army of labor. So there's this vast pool of unemployed people looking for work in capitalist society, and this benefits the bourgeois because it increases their bargaining power vis-a-vis the proletariat. Now, women, because of their responsibilities of child rearing, etc., they are not seen as primary breadwinners, right? Therefore, whenever there is an industrial upsurge, in the sense of upsurge of demand requiring increased production, women can be recruited into the labor force, and when there is a downturn, they can be laid off without much resistance. Women also make up for a more docile workforce than men since they have been so socialized in the patriarchal society, right? So then we also discussed data from the a recent ILO report a few years back, kind of an ILO report, which suggested that there is a significant gender gap in the labor force participation rates of men and women. It is very wide in societies like South Asia or the Middle East of the magnitude of 50%, 55%, but it is also not insignificant in the developed West, where it is about 15%. Right? So you can remember figures like these, ballpark figures roundabout, rather than being like 78.3 or something, which will be difficult to remember. Then we discussed about patriarchy in religion, how feminist scholars have interpreted religions to be mostly patriarchal, being authored by, controlled, and interpreted by men. That God is described as male, and women are seen as adjuncts. That the language used in religious texts is masculine. That the social roles assigned to men and women, sanctioned by scriptures, they also kind of disadvantage women, whether it is rights over children or property, household, in the marriage, etc. Then we discussed what? We discussed how there is, in every marriage there are two marriages, the man's marriage and the woman's marriage, right? And the two are vastly different. Women are, or wives are net disadvantaged by marriage, while men benefit from marriage, living longer and more successful lives than their unmarried counterparts. We also discussed the critique of housework for the housewife role, that it is dull, monotonous, boring, repetitive, no promotion chances, it is alienating, isolated, long hours, no holidays, right? So it's basically a very thankless and uninspiring kind of a work, and it is not even considered as work, right? In fact, many feminist scholars contend that even if women are paid, the minimum wage, at the minimum wage rate for the massive amounts of housework that they do, there will be a massive redistribution of wealth throughout society, right? So this is basically unpaid labor by women, and such huge amounts of it in every household. It is like startling. We discussed what else? We discussed the concept of patriarchal bargain as well, developed by Turkish economist Deniz Kandioti, who suggests that women strike a bargain with patriarchy by accepting and internalizing its expectations, its norms, upholding patriarchal norms, imposing them on other women, in order to derive some sort of social or psychological benefit. This is how women become somewhat complicit in their own oppression. Though individual women may benefit by striking a patriarchal bargain, women as a class lose, because patriarchy is thus perpetuated. Right? We also discussed Murdoch's views on sexual division of labor, who suggested that it is simply born out of sheer practical considerations given the biological differences between men and women, right? Because the male body has greater physical strength than the female body, because the female body alone performs the biological tasks of carrying a pregnancy, childbirth, and then lactation. So those tasks which require greater physical strength or traveling for long distances are allocated to men. And this is like, again, a study of more than 200 societies across the globe, while those tasks which can be done nearer to the home base or require lesser physical strength are allocated to women. So, but this was contested by feminist scholars like Anu Clean. Yes, we discussed Sylvia Walby's 6 patriarchal structures. Namely, help me out there. What were the 6 patriarchal structures as suggested by Walby? Yes, beginning with, okay, you have violence, you have paid work, you have household, production, the state, culture, sexuality. Absolutely, thank you. Right? We discussed how violence against women is of epidemic proportions, right? In fact, the UN has suggested that violence against women during the pandemic has possibly seen a rise, right? Because now families are living together for elongated periods of time. So women are subjected to greater physical violence, what it has termed as a shadow pandemic, right? And even before the pandemic, 1 in 3 women globally had been victims of violence, and including in the developed West, okay? So that was that. Now, I had explained earlier, but let me reiterate some topics mentioned under the unit on kinship and family, such as the types of family, household, descent, lineage, and kinship. These will be covered for both paper 1 and paper 2 perspective when we cover paper 2. Okay. Then we discussed various feminist positions, from the liberal feminist position to the Marxist, lesbian feminism, radical feminism. All these liberal feminists contend, or they seek to harness legislative power, state action to improve the lot of women within the framework of the existing society, right? So through democratic mobilization of women, new laws, pro-women laws, right, provisions to empower them, state action, they seek to improve the lot of women. Marxists contend that such a kind of piecemeal approach will not do. Women's subordination is rooted in their lack of ownership of property, right? And a class society kind of benefits from, or the capitalist, present modern capitalist society particularly benefits from the subordination of women who reproduce labor and blah blah in various ways. So to end women's subordination, the capitalist system will have to be done away with. Only in a communist society will men and women be truly equal, right? So women in a communist society will also equally participate in the production system. Household chores will be shared equally between men and women, and so on. Lesbian feminist perspective contends that heterosexuality is patriarchal. So if you are a feminist, you ought to be logically speaking, right? You ought to endorse lesbianism, right? Because it is the logical culmination of the feminist perspective. So instead of seeking to kind of negotiate a better relationship with men, you simply junk men and focus energies on feminist sisterhood and strong, intimate, including sexual relations with other women. Okay. Then we come to the which position, the radical feminist perspective, who have taken up cudgels against various aspects of patriarchy, whether it is religion or abortion rights or reproductive rights, or it is a gender-free, gender-neutral society, abolishing the mother-housewife role, or we can conclude it with Shulamit Firestone's views regarding what? That women must seize the means of reproduction along with the means of production. Okay? So women need to be freed from their biological this thing. So this is it. Now, let us move on to another, should I say interesting, and another aspect of social life about which people are very emotional, something we are very emotionally attached to, another social institution, apart from the family. What is it that is a very emotive issue for a lot of us? Absolutely, it is religion. Who's too attracted or who's too emotional about education? It is religion. Okay? Most of you got it right. So, let us now delve into a sociology of religion. Before we proceed, I just want a show of hands. I guess how many of you are religious or consider yourself religious? And dare you give me that I'm spiritual but not religious kind of this thing? Give me yes or no answers. How many of you would call yourselves religious? It seems overwhelmingly we are a Bhakt Mandali, right? Very few naysayers. Otherwise, most of us are religious, some of us are very religious, some of us would be agnostics and atheists. Okay. So, I must pay that much due respect to religion, right? What do you understand by religion, friends? What is your layman understanding of religion? Let us try to begin defining religion and then we get down to analyzing it. In layman terms, don't give me any sociological definitions or jargon, that I will give to you, right? I want your layman assessment of what is religion. Dare you use terms like norms and values, okay? It's a community following a certain belief, faith. Very apt, single word, faith. All of you are, your inner Durkheim is speaking up basically. It gives answers to the unknown. That's nice. Something to do with divinity, worship of God. Very simply put, it is worship of God. Having faith in something supernatural. Yes, very legit kind of a definition. A belief in God, activities related to it, that's very nice. The way I live life, that is too vague, too ill-defined. Yeah, you may be an atheist for all I care. A faith in the supernatural, absolutely. God. A faith in sacred. Giving our control to the unknown. Huh? Okay, very simply put, where we pray and seek solace. That's religion. Religion is beyond science, or possibly beyond like empirical investigation and comprehension. Blindly believing something whose existence is in doubt. Chaliye, thank you. Yes, religion is all of that and more. Let us try to define religion, okay, using some scholarly perspectives. According to Roland Robertson. So, before I quote Robertson, religion is what simply, friends, it is something to do with a belief in God or supernatural forces. So, according to Roland Robertson, religion refers to a belief in the existence. According to Roland Robertson, religion refers to a belief in the existence of supernatural beings that have a governing effect on life. What would be those supernatural beings, friends? In your culture or other cultures, what do we call those supernatural beings, entities? They may be known as God, Paramatma, Allah, Devtas, angels, demons, spirits. Absolutely. Okay, so I repeat, according to Roland Robertson, religion is a belief in the existence of supernatural beings and the effect they have on human lives. According to Yinger, another definition, two very standard, easy to remember definitions, you take your pick. Okay, according to Yinger, religion is a system of beliefs and practices. Religion is a system of beliefs and practices by means of which a group of people struggle with the ultimate problems of human life. A system of beliefs and practices by means of which a group of people struggle with some of the existential questions that confront us, right? So, have you dealt personally on those existential questions that Yinger is alluding to? Why are we born? Where have we come from? What is the purpose of life? Where do we go? Is there an afterlife? What happens after death? How are the cosmos in order? Right, so many of you are those seekers type. Do spirits exist? So this is what basically religion helps us to come to terms with. Chali. Now, having thus defined religion, let me also give you a peek into what the UPSC sociology syllabus holds on religion, and we'll be covering as we proceed. We will be beginning with theories of origin of religion. Then we will be discussing various theories that explain the role of religion in society. Most importantly, the functional theory, the Marxist theory, and the Weberian theory. We have also discussed in the previous lecture the feminist theory or view of religion. Okay? But most importantly, these three theories we'll be discussing. Then we will be talking about religion in modern society. Religion in modern society, under which we will be examining the concept of secularization. I'm writing here because I don't want to turn all the way back. Secularization, religious revivalism, and fundamentalism. Then sects and cults. We will be also talking about what do you call the relationship between religion and science, and certain concepts like monism and pluralism. Okay? So this is our UPSC sociology syllabus on religion. Beginning with the theories of origin of religion. Theories of origin of religion. Why did religion arise? Let us try to appreciate. Any idea when did religion arise? How old is religion? When did, say, let us, if we pick up specific religions, when did Sikhism arise? Sikhism is how old? It's about 400 odd years old? 400, 500, yeah? Fine. And how about Islam? So Islam arose sometime around what? It's 1400 years old, or the 7th century, broadly. Fine. Christianity, sometime around the birth of Jesus Christ, right? So about 2000 odd years ago. Any religions older than Christianity that we know of? So many. Whether it is Judaism, right, the parent religion from which Christianity emerged, whether it is Buddhism and Jainism that arose in the BC era, whether it is Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma, various, any religion older than Hinduism that we know of? Yes, we do. So some sort of religious beliefs and practices seem to be very, very old. Okay, various excavations of human fossils, etc., of very olden, I don't know, Paleolithic or whatever time periods, they also indicate some sort of religious beliefs, practices, such as that graves of people being found accompanied with pots of grains or certain ornaments, which indicate some sort of a belief in an afterlife, right? A worship of Mother Earth, and so on. They seem to be on caves, etc., of tens of thousands of years old. There seem to be some religious symbolism. Even in the Harappan civilization, there was this some several indications of religious beliefs and practices, such as what is called the Proto Shiva or the bull seal, and so on and so forth. Yes, Pashupati. So, point is, friends, that it will be difficult to exactly pinpoint when religion arose, but presumably religion or some sort of a belief in an afterlife, in some sort of supernatural beings, entities, seems to be possibly as old as human society itself. Now, coming to the more pertinent question, why did religion arise? Or to all the religious-minded people, my blunt question to you: has God created man, or man created God? So man has created God, which will conflict with our religious beliefs or notions. Our belief in this sacred and supernatural power that is above and beyond us, more powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Now, why did man create God? There are varying or two important theories on this question that I would like to discuss with you. Beginning with the theory of naturism by Max Muller. Max Muller was a German linguist with a very strong India connection, right? In any case, here we are concerned about, he was an Indologist, here we are concerned about his theory of origin of religion. Now, naturism simply means nature worship. So according to Muller, nature began as nature worship. Now, why did the primitive man begin worshipping the forces of nature? Let us try to appreciate. In those primitive times, man was greatly exposed to the harsh forces of nature. Since technological advancement or technology was very primitive, man did not have many protections against the forces of nature. Therefore, various natural forces, natural processes, they induced a sense of fear and wonder in man, in the primitive man. So man was simply living in the jungles, in these hordes, roaming about, right? And he would be exposed to the mighty forces of nature. Sometimes a river would flood, disrupting his life. Or there would be a forest fire. Or there would be some major thunder and very heavy downpour. And all of it would produce in the primitive man, very strong emotions of fear, terror, wonder, amazement. So imagine yourself as the primitive man and you are doing your business in the jungle, whatever you were doing in the sense business, in the sense hunting or whatever, and suddenly, Bijli Karan, there is thunder and a heavy rain, and you will be left agape. With, oh, what is this happening? And man had no control over these mighty forces of nature because of low technological development. He was greatly exposed to the natural forces. Now, in order to overcome those emotions of fear and terror, the primitive man sought to pacify the forces of nature. So he actually did not have any control over them. So he developed a sense of control. Why? So he personified those forces of nature and began worshipping them. So the river became Ganga Maya. The sun became Surya Devata. Right? And so on and so forth. The various forces of nature, they were personified and began to be worshipped by the primitive man so that he could develop a sense of control and derive some sort of, a satisfaction of his emotional, very strong emotions that he experienced. This is how nature worship or religion originated in nature worship, according to Max Muller. Now let us look at another theory that tries to explain the origin of religion. It is called animism by E.B. Tylor. Anima means what? Anima. Anima literally means a life force. Okay, it is also the root word in animal. Okay, or animation, animated. We are having an animated conversation, meaning a lively conversation. To animate means you put those figures into, put life into those figures. They start moving. That is animation, right? Animals are living beings. Okay? So, animism literally means a life force or spirit, what we otherwise call a spirit. According to E.B. Tylor, religion originated in the form of spirit worship. Spirit worship. Now, the primitive man invented the concept of a spirit. Why? in order to satisfy his intellectual needs. The mind of the primitive man was greatly troubled by two questions, to which he sought answers, according to Tyler. One question that the primitive man was seeking an answer to is, what is it that makes the difference between the living and the non-living, or the dead, between the living and the dead? So one moment, a member of the society is with us. Imagine we are a primitive group or horde of people, and the next day he dies. So how do you explain that? How has that person suddenly become immobile and, lifeless? The second question was that what are those entities that we see in our dreams and visions? In our dreams and visions. So, for example, after today's lecture, when I am sleeping in the night, I will dream. And in my dreams, I may think of my students, or a friend, or some departed person, right? Somebody who has passed away. All of these people, now my students, you guys are in other places. My friend is in another location. The person who has died, he is no more with us. But I'm still seeing you in my dreams. So to answer these two questions, the primitive man invented the concept of a spirit or soul. So what is it that makes the difference between the living and the dead? It is the spirit or the life force. As long as the body contains the spirit or the life force, it is living. And once the spirit or the soul leaves the body, the person dies. What is it I see in my visions, etc.? So you are at your home, very distant away from me. So what do I see? It is your spirit which has temporarily left your body and occupied my dream space. Okay? So I'm encountering your spirits in my dreams or visions. So the primitive man, having thus invented the concept of the spirit or the soul, he was able to answer these two questions and satisfy his intellectual curiosity. Do we have this concept? Now this concept also is very widely prevalent, friends, across religions. In Hinduism, do we have this concept? Yes, so it is very common in our Hindu culture also. It is widely believed that जब तक शरीर में, permit me just a wee bit of Hindi, I'll translate. जब तक शरीर में आत्मा वास करती है, तब तक व्यक्ति जीवित रहता है, और जब आत्मा शरीर त्याग देती है, तो वह मृत हो जाता है. In other words, as long as the spirit resides in the human body, the person is living, and once the spirit departs, the person dies. Right? And it is known as bonga bonga, or in various African cultures, or soul, spirit, atma, by various names. It's a very widely prevalent concept. In any case, according to Tyler, religion emerged as spirit worship. Now, once this concept of spirit was invented, it was not confined only to human beings. Even animals, mountains, etc. were associated with possessing a spirit. Okay. And once this concept of spirit was invented, it is also why we worship the spirits of the dead ancestors. Right? Say in the Shraddh ceremony in Hindu culture. The very appropriate Indic word for anima would be what? Instead of Atma, even a better word. Can you give me? Not Brahma. Okay, the hint is I am the hint. It's Pran. Right? Pran is literally a life force. Chali. So by whatever name, right? A belief in these spirits emerged in the primitive society. And once this concept was invented, now please appreciate these spirits were very considered to be very powerful and needing to be propitiated or kind of assuaged, placated. So they began to be worshipped. Chali. These are some of the theories of origin of religion. Exam point of view, not very important. Okay. In fact, frankly, there are any number of other theories of origin of religion also, but quite unlikely to be asked. Okay. But nevertheless, since it is a part of our corpus, so we have to discuss at least this much. Now moving on to the much more important part in the theories of religion, which is discussing the three theories: functional, Marxist, and this thing. The functional theory of religion, friends. Do you know anything about it? You already know a lot about it. Why? We have discussed it in great detail. Durkheim's is a functional theory of religion, right? So all that. Dividing the world into two categories of sacred and profane, what is the relationship between them, how it is a unifying force, the study of the Arunta people, totemism, all that we have greatly covered. How it reinforces social solidarity and cohesion, social control, and so on. So I'm not getting into that again. Another functionalist scholar which I want to mention is Malinowski. So Malinowski, friends, he did what? He studied Trobriand Islanders. It's a small island in the Pacific somewhere, possibly. So he studied, it's a very primitive tribal group, and he studied their religious beliefs and practices. And what he found, or basically what he concluded in his study of religion was that in a society, whether it is Trobriand or in general, in every society, the individual passes through several crises of life. Several crises of life one passes through. What are these life crisis situations? They are, very landmark events in the life of the individual, which mark transition to a very different kind of a social life. For instance, the attainment of puberty, marriage, death, and birth. Okay, these are some landmark events in the life of an individual. So when you attain puberty, there is a sexual, psychological maturation, lot of changes happening in the body and everything, right? So it is like you enter mini adulthood. Then marriage marks one's entry into full-fledged adulthood. You are no more treated as a child. You are expected to be productive, productively engaged and sexually procreative and so on and so forth. You have to adjust to a spousal relationship or another person in a very intimate relationship with you. Right? And the most jarring of all is death. Okay, all these crises of life, they produce tension and anxiety, right? And most importantly, death of a person, it leads to a lot of turmoil and anxiety in the minds of the bereaved. Why? Because some person you have developed very emotionally, strong bonds with, and one fine day that person is no more a member of the society. Many people come to rely on that person, possibly for financial or social or psychological, emotional comfort. So these life crisis situations are typically associated with a lot of religion, or religion plays a very vital role in these life crisis situations. There are a lot of religious rituals, etc., associated with them. How is religion helpful or functional during these life crisis situations? It helps the individual to tide over those difficult times, simply put. In religious ritual, members of the community, they come together and express solidarity with the individual. They offer comfort and support to the individual. For example, when a person dies, okay, the death rituals, what do? They often tend to deny the fact of death. For example, religious rituals associated with death often tend to negate death. Right? They talk about the immortality of the soul. So when a person dies, what do we tell, or what does the religious teachers say? That Atman Ishwar hai, ye to sharir gaya hai. He lives on. It is only this body, which is a temporary vehicle that the soul was occupying. Only that he has this thing. He has only changed his clothes, as it were. He'll occupy a new body. He'll be reborn in his son, or he lives on in his grandchild. Right? Or that he's gone to a better place, right? To the heavens. He's still looking after you from there above. And so on and so forth. So, religion helps the individual members of the society to come to terms with the fact of bereavement by denying it, by playing it down, by expressing solidarity, support. So when people, during the ritual, say Teravi or Chauth, say in Hindu culture, they would visit the bereaved. They would comfort him, right? That it is an expression that we are with you. Even if that person who was very dear to you is no more with us, but you are not alone. You are not all by yourself. The society is there to help you, right? So that is how religion plays an important functional role in helping the members of the society to come to terms with, or to deal with the tension and anxiety that these life crisis situations are accompanied with. Likewise, associated with puberty, marriage, birth, there's a lot of religious rituals and festivities associated. So the idea is the society tells the individual, we are with you, you aren't going through it all alone. So we'll help you tackle it. Another interesting thing that Malinowski observed, where religion played an important role. Now these people, they were islanders, right? So their economy was mainly fishing, right? So there were two types of fishing that the Trobriand islanders engaged in. One was fishing near to the coast, and the other was deep sea fishing, okay, going deep into the waters and fishing. Now you tell me, friends, which of the two was accompanied with religious rituals and not the other? When the people went for fishing deep into the sea, or when they were fishing near to the coast? Absolutely, when they went for fishing deep into the sea, okay? Malinowski observed that there were a lot of religious rituals associated. Why? Because when you go deep sea fishing, there is a potential danger of the person not returning, of the loss of one's life, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. What if there's a storm, there's a thunder, okay, the boat sinks, or this or that? While fishing from the coast, that is relatively much safer, okay, one can be much sure of. So point is, why religious rituals when one goes deep sea fishing? To reduce the uncertainty, the tensions, right, the anxiety associated with that life situation. So once you perform certain rituals, then it gives you a sense of greater control or certainty over what is effectively, an outcome which you don't have control over. For example, friends, when you, on the day of your UPSC examination, will you worship, perform some religious ritual, bow down before Almighty? Right? Why? Because it is a very momentous occasion for you. You've put in a year's long hard work, and the outcome is uncertain. And once you do, what do? You tell God, I'll give you 11 rupees, 51 rupees, 5100 rupees, depending on your Shraddha, Chadava, and then you are relatively more certain. Okay, so I have bribed God, and that will help me. Or I won this tabiz, or I performed this puja, and that helps you secure a greater sense of certainty in your mind. Right? So that is how religion is functional for the society, according to Malinowski. Moving on to which theory? Marxist theory of religion. From a Marxist perspective, friends, religion is what? Marx famously said that religion is the opium of the people. Religion is the opium of the people. What is an opium? opium is what is opium? It is something like, it's a drug, right? It's like a charas ganja or whatever. Now, when you take opium, what is its effect? Any of you has any experience with drugs? How do you feel when you take drugs? So we are very, very experienced persons here. It feels light and happy, it feels good. It makes you forget tensions, and I'm not advocating drugs, mind you. So, basically they give you a high, right? To put it in bluntly, it gives you a high. High means you forget your troubles, and you feel kind of ecstatic. Now tell me friends, whatever troubles you have, and then you take drugs, do the problems get solved by taking the drug? Does it address the root cause of your problem? Whether it is financial distress or broken relationships, or a failing career, does taking drugs address the cause of your problem? Help you identify a solution to it? The answer is clearly no. So the problem remains there, but the drug makes you forget your problem, or it gives you this temporary relief that everything is alright. This is exactly the role which religion plays in society, according to Sri Marx. How it does that, let us try to appreciate. Meaning, what it does not address the problems of the people, but it makes them forget their problems and accept their situation as it is. From a Marxist perspective, friends, religion is a part of the, it's a fill in the blank, give me one word answer. Religion is a part of the, yes, it is a part of the superstructure. Apart from the economy, everything belongs to the superstructure. So religion is a part of the superstructure. And as a part of the superstructure, what does it do? What does the superstructure do? It justifies, legitimizes, and stabilizes the inequalities in the economic base, thereby helping to maintain the status quo. So the relationships in the economy are exploitative and oppressive for the masses, for the proletariat, say in capitalist society. What would religion do? It will justify and explain away their oppression and exploitation. It thereby helps to maintain the exploitative system or social relationships. Let us try to appreciate how religion serves to benefit the haves, or how it serves to maintain status quo. Oftentimes, friends, what religion does is that it glorifies suffering. Glorifies suffering. Poverty. Right? Such things are often justified, not only justified, they are glorified by religion. For example, friends, there's a biblical saying, okay? It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. A camel, okay? It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. एक ऊंट का सुई की आंख में से जाना ज्यादा संभव है than एक अमीर आदमी का स्वर्ग पहुंचना. Okay, I just said the same thing in Hindi. In other words, friends, lucky you that you are born in poverty. Why? Poverty is virtuous. Who shall inherit the earth? The meek, the wretched, the poor, they shall inherit the earth. Where does God reside? Mahatma Gandhi also popularized this concept. How do you serve God? By serving the poor, right? This concept of Daridra Narayan. Daridra means poverty. Narayan refers to Lord Vishnu. So the Lord resides in the poor. So if you want to serve the Lord, you serve the poor. Religion also, kind of, it gives hope of divine intervention in this worldly affairs. So if injustice is being done to you, if the Seth, the Sahukar, the capitalist, the money bags, the haves are not giving you your worth's due, then what should you do? Should you kill them? What would religion teach you? Absolutely not. What must you do? You must wait for divine intervention. भगवान के घर देर है अंधेर नहीं. Okay, so there is this divine justice that will be meted out on the day of judgment. God will punish him. Meaning what? You don't do anything. So it lulls the masses into inaction, that they should not do anything to actively change their wretched situation. Anyways, you are blessed that you are poor, you are so virtuous and nice. Then he will set things right, he with a capital H. Right? It often also, promotes this imagery of a very beautiful and glorious afterlife. So you have a pathetic existence here, you are poor, wretched, without resources, but how does it matter? Religion would do what? It would deny the importance of this world, the material world. What is all this? What does Hinduism tell you? This is all Mumaya. It's all temporary. Right? What is real wealth? That is spiritual. That is in the afterlife. So after death, what will you get? Yes, you will get 72 hoors, or you will get Jannat, or heavens, or Swarg. So after death, you're going to have an awesome time. And when you promote such kind of, a beautiful afterlife awaiting you, that makes the pathetic existence in this material world more bearable. So take another 10, 20, 40 years and I'll be gone. And then life is going to be awesome. Okay, so such notions of heavens and heavenly kya hota hai? You have streams of milk and honey and apsaras and hooves, right? So it is a land of plenty and celebration, and that is the real wealth. Okay? Oftentimes religions also kind of explain the worldly order as divinely ordained. That the social order is created by who? Him. So it is God's will. So if you are born poor, if you are born without resources, if you are born in a wretched state, then it is His will, which you must bear with fortitude. If the other person is born rich, then again it is His will. And God, as you always know, works in which ways? Mysterious ways. So you and I, we are too insignificant, sukshma literally, to understand His mysterious ways. You know, there is this biblical saying, the rich man in his castle and the poor man at his gate. God made them highly and lowly and ordered his estate. So this whole creation, including the social world, is a divine creation, and you petty thing, you will challenge His cosmic order, His will, that is beyond you. I repeat, the rich man in his castle, the poor man at his gate. God made them highly and lowly and ordered his estate. So this is the world that He has arranged. Okay, and He, of course, with a capital H. What does your Hindu philosophy tell you? If you are born poor and wretched, whose fault is it? Why is it that you are poor? Why is it that you are without resources? It is your karma. What in English we call karma. Okay, but it's really karma. So the karma philosophy in Hinduism also legitimizes or explains poverty and riches. So if you are born poor, it is your bad prior karma which is now visiting you. And if you are, another person is born in wealth, then it is his good karma of which he is reaping the fruits of some pichla janam, some past life. In other words, the social arrangements are not to be blamed. They are to be accepted with fortitude. You just have to, manage these 50, 70 years. And if you are a good boy, mind you, then you will be rewarded with heaven. And what is being a good boy? Accepting the social norms and arrangements as they are. So religions would teach you, do not disturb the social order. So various, to steal, okay? Chori karna kya hai? To steal is not just illegal. It is what? Chori karna paap hai. It is a sin. So who will do chori or theft from whom? Those who do not have will steal from those who have. But you must not do it, otherwise you are committing a grave sin. You must not commit murder, because life is sacred. So you cannot bodily harm your exploiter, your oppressor. Why? Life has been given by Him, and it is only up to Him to take it away. Okay? So point is, friends, religions, through such various ways, they serve as an instrument of social control. They legitimize, rationalize the dominance of the dominant class. They lull people into inaction. They make their life in this world more bearable, thereby hiding the true nature of reality from them. Religion thereby creates an illusion. Marx was particularly very critical of Christianity, which he argued it makes the masses cowardly, passive, ridden in guilt, self-doubt, induces in them a feeling of helplessness, makes them submissive. I repeat, Marx was particularly critical of Christianity, which, according to him, made the masses helpless, feel weak, helpless, submissive, passive, cowardly. So religion basically serves the class interests of the haves by preserving or helping to preserve the prevailing social order, helping to maintain the status quo. What will happen to religion in communist society? What will happen to religion in communist society? Absolutely, there will be no religion in communism. You know, Marx contended that religion, basically, it is like an illusory sun, if I were to quote Marx, around which man revolves when he doesn't revolve around himself. But in communist society, man will revolve around himself. He will be fully awakened. He will not be alienated from the true nature of his self. Therefore, there will be no need for this clutches of religion. Religion basically serves the class interests of the haves, or the dominant class. Since the communist society is classless, religion serves no purpose and therefore has no place in communist society. Okay? A quick critical assessment of Marxist theory. guy's views on religion? Is he right on religion? Plainly put. Is he right on religion? Okay, fine. So, to give due credit to Marx, there does seem to be a very strong nexus between the dominant class and organized religion. Across societies, we have seen throughout human history that the privileged sections of the society and the ruling classes, right, the rich and the powerful, the rulers, they are literally hands in glove, or shall we say in bed together with the priestly class. So, throughout human history, people with money have funded religious, the glorification of religion through creating such massive, imposing and expensive places of worship like churches and mosques and temples. Something which the Indian state is also presently engaged in. And it is not something, it's not only a 21st century phenomenon, since times immemorial. Right? In the ancient period, the kings, their authority was sanctified by the Brahmins of the priestly class as divinely ordained. So the kings would patronize religion, give land grants and protection to the priestly class, and the priestly class would in turn sanctify the rule of the ruler. Right? And some of these Egyptian or rulers, they even proclaim to be God incarnates. So the very close nexus between religion and the ruling class seems to be evident throughout human history, something which has also been highlighted in the Marxist critique of religion. Having said that, friends, Marxist theory of religion is also criticized on a number of grounds as follows. Quick criticisms. First would be, of course, from the functional perspective. So, functionalists would argue what? That Marxism engages in only a one-sided critical assessment of religion, does not acknowledge the spirit of cooperation that it promotes, the integration, the shared morality, the shared value system that it fosters in the society. So, according to the functionalist critics, of course, functional and Marxist perspectives would be critical of each other, right? They are diametrically opposite. So, according to functional scholars, religion is equally a source of cooperation, harmony, unity, integration, and solidarity, shared norms and values, which is somewhat completely ignored in the Marxist analysis of religion. Seeing it only, Marx only sees it as a source of exploitation and oppression of one class, asserting itself over the other or benefiting at the expense of the other. I repeat, functionalist sociologists highlight that religion also plays a very integrative role in society. And it is not merely a tool for the exploitation and oppression of the have-nots, as Marx would put it. Another criticism from the Weberian perspective, Weber we will be discussing in just a bit. But from a Weberian standpoint, friends, Marx believed that religion is in the realm of the superstructure, which is ultimately shaped by the economy of the base. So, the economy is the causative factor, and that determines the nature of religious teaching. However, Weber argues the opposite, that religion has a profound influence on the economy. So it is not something which is merely shaped by the economy, it also profoundly affects and transforms the economy. Religious ideas cannot be relegated to the superstructure as Marx does, seeing them only a product of economic forces. Another critique would be, Marx sees religion as primarily status quoist, that it helps to maintain the status quo, that things remain as they are. So it justifies and rationalizes the existing exploitative arrangements, and by doing so, it helps to maintain the social order or preserve the social order exactly as it is. It makes people passive and not to seek change, rather accept their wretched position. However, friends, even a cursory look at the history of religion will tell us that religion has equally been a source which inspires its followers to actively change their position. Particularly, oftentimes religion teaches to not accept injustice, rather to fight against it. Religion also, it does not make people inactive and passive. Religion, in fact, often arouses people to action, to fight injustice. For example, the much maligned concept of jihad in Islam. Okay, so jihad basically means what? It means a struggle. Okay, and one aspect of that struggle is against injustice. So you do not take it lying down, you do not bear with fortitude, as Marx would say, but rather you must strive to create a more just society. Or even in Hinduism, when Lord Krishna, when Arjuna on the battlefield, he is despondent that I should not pick up arms because they are my kith and kin, they are my relatives and gurus. What does Krishna tell him? Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that you must fight it because it is a dharma yuddha. right? So they are on the side of injustice, which must not be tolerated. It is your religious duty to fight injustice. Point is, friends, whether it is jihad in Islam or dharma yuddha in Hinduism, and likewise in several other religious theologies, similar concepts, religion is not necessarily a pacifying force telling people to meekly accept their lowly position. It has, since times immemorial, inspired people to action to create a better future, a better society. Okay? So with that, we are done with the Marxist theory of religion. Now we take a well-deserved break, after which we start with Weber. Hello friends, hi. If you could confirm that you can hear me and see me all right, that will be very nice. Yes, thank you. So now we begin with Weber's views on religion, which are captured in his writings, titled The Protestant Ethic. The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. Now this was one of the significant contributions of Weber to the sociology of religion, as also to economic sociology. In fact, friends, Weber analyzed the relationship between the Protestant religious beliefs and capitalism, but not only the Protestant religious beliefs, but also those of various other major world religions, including Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, etc. Now, in these writings, Weber tries to assess how does one's religious beliefs affect economic behavior. Yeah? How does one's religious beliefs affect economic behavior? Does it? Does it for you? Now you also engage in economic behavior, you purchase things, you sell things, you work or will work. Does it affect? How does your religion, as a layman, affect your economic behavior? That you have certain religious beliefs or notions because of which this is how your work-related behavior is affected. So religion, someone's religion teaches her to not cheat. Another person is taught by his religion to be honest, and so on and so forth. Yeah, absolutely. So some religions value sacrifice. Absolutely. So point is, friends, man's economic behavior is greatly shaped by religion, right? Now what Weber was interested in, that why did the capitalist, modern capitalist economy emerge in Western Europe? In the 18th, 19th centuries period. Okay. So why did capitalism emerge in a particular part of the world at a particular point in human history and nowhere else? In fact, Weber discusses how the material conditions necessary for capitalist development were also present in several other societies, including India and China. One student has made such an irreligious, sacrilegious comment by saying we buy deities. He was trying to link economic behavior to religion, but that comes off very badly for a religious-minded person. Anyways, the material conditions necessary for capitalist development were present in several other societies also. Okay, what material conditions? For example, you require a fairly large population, a stable political system, control over rivers, long periods of peace, abundant material resources, etc. All these material conditions were also present in various other parts of the world other than Western Europe. But still capitalism or modern industrial capitalism did not emerge in these areas. Why? Because the religious notions of these countries, they were not conducive to capitalist development. They were not conducive to capitalist development. Hinduism, for instance, according to Weber, promotes otherworldly asceticism. It is otherworldly in the sense it kind of de-emphasizes the importance of this world or the material world, right? Everything is Maya, transitory and so on. And asceticism. Asceticism means leading a frugal, bare necessities kind of a life. So for the Hindu, the ultimate goal is what? What is the ultimate life goal for a Hindu? The attainment of moksha, which is an otherworldly pursuit. So in the Hindu, the typical Hindu is not too concerned with this worldly achievements or this worldly material things. Moreover, the caste system in Hindu society also kind of kills innovation. It discourages innovation and it discourages people from trying to improve their position. Why? Because you are stuck in whichever caste you are born in for life. So no matter what you do, you cannot attain a higher caste. So what is the point of working hard or trying to improve productivity if you are going to be stuck at the station at which you are born in throughout life? Right? So point is, according to Weber, Hinduism is not conducive to capitalist development, and likewise he evaluated various other important religions, including Judaism, Christianity, Catholic Christianity, Taoism from China, Buddhism, etc., as also not conducive for capitalist development. Only the Protestant ethic or the Protestant, the religious beliefs of the Protestant people, they contributed to the development of the spirit of capitalism. They were conducive to capitalist development. What do you mean by Protestantism? Just to put things in perspective, in the 16th century, okay, see, broadly, Christians the world over are broadly divided into two categories, Catholics and Protestants. Okay? This is not Weber, I'm just giving you an introduction or background to the term. Catholics and Protestants. This is one major division in the global Christian order. Okay? So, and then you also have Orthodox Christians, but they are only 10%. These are the two main Christian denominations. Almost half of the world's Christians are Catholics and about 40% are Protestants. So, earlier there was this Catholic Church, okay, the Roman Catholic Church, which was the single church governing all Christians. Then in the 16th century, Protestant Reformation took place. So these were reformers within Christian society who protested against certain aspects of Catholic Christianity, right? So they challenged how the Catholics interpreted the Bible and so on and so forth, right? How they kind of their religious practices, etc. They were criticized by the Protestant reformers like John Calvin and Martin Luther. Their followers since then are known as Protestants, and there are several other this thing also divisions, right? So there are Lutherans, Calvinists. Weber's own mother was a Calvinist, right? And when he talks about the Protestant ethic, he's particularly talking about the Calvinist belief system. Okay, also he touches upon others, but primarily the Calvinist worldview. Now, what Weber found was that after the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, the economic center of Europe shifted away from the Catholic-dominated countries to the Protestant majority countries. Catholic countries like France or Italy or Spain, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, these are Catholic-dominated countries. But after the Reformation, instead of they becoming the main economic centers, it shifted to the Protestant-dominated countries like Germany, England, all these Scandinavian countries, Netherlands, Iceland, Finland. They became economic powerhouses. Also, Weber found that the early capitalists, as also the early skilled industrial workers, were overwhelmingly Protestant. They were overwhelmingly Protestants. So that is what drew him to explore the linkage between the Protestants' worldview and the capitalist system. That the early capitalists and skilled workers were overwhelmingly Protestants. Before we come to the, what do you call it? The linkage between Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism. Protestant ethic simply means the Protestant worldview, their belief system. Okay? The spirit of capitalism means, what is the driving force of the capitalist system? What is its essence? What is its, the kind of attitude towards work which is required for the capitalist system to emerge? What is that essence of capitalism, friends, in your assessment, in your layman assessment? What is the essence of capitalism? What is the capitalism all about? Profit. Many of you are suggesting, almost an overwhelming majority of you suggesting it is profit. No, it is not. Private property, innovation, saving, spending. Materialism, surplus, resource, consumption, power, luxurious life. Absolutely not, friends. Exploitation, oppression, hard work. No, you have not been able to lay your hands on the spirit of capitalism. Or lay your finger rather. The spirit of capitalism, friends, according to Weber, please appreciate. The spirit of capitalism is the pursuit of profit. It's not about making money. Please appreciate. People have been trying to make money since ages, since times immemorial. Human greed has been very old. People have been engaged in trade and commerce also since the ancient times. Think of the ancient Silk Route, spanning continents. So, merely seeking wealth or riches is not the spirit of capitalism. Weber, in fact, contends that is as old as, possibly human civilization itself. The spirit of capitalism is the pursuit of profit and forever renewed profit. This is why it was incomplete. That is the spirit of capitalism, friends. Why should one make profit? Why do you seek to make profit in capitalist society? What do you do with the profit? See, in olden times, and that is how modern capitalism is different from earlier or pre-capitalist wealth seeking. Earlier, when people used to accumulate wealth, it was to ensure that they can benefit, in terms of a superior lifestyle, better social status. So if I were to accumulate a lot of wealth, and people did so through trade, through capture, right, or pirates became wealthy. But the purpose was to consume that wealth and attain a higher social status. This is where capitalism differs, friends. In capitalism, why does one make profit? Not so that you can consume it, but so that, what will you do? You will add it to your capital base so that you can now seek more profit from. And what will you do with that more profit? You will again reinvest it, and again so that you gain higher profit. And what will you do with that higher profit? You again reinvest. It is in fact captured in that tale, okay, of a hard-working capitalist farmer. So a farmer is working, toiling on his fields in hot sun, and a passers-by asks him that why are you working so hard? So he says, so that I can grow more crop. And why do you want to grow more crop? So that I can sell it and procure more, profit or money in the market. What will you do with more money? I will buy more land. What will you do with more land? So that I can grow more crop. What will you do with the more crop? I will then get more profit, and the cycle will continue. So profit seeking becomes an end in itself. In capitalist, that is the spirit of capitalism. That profit is to be sought so that one can make more profit from that profit. Right? The spirit of capitalism is in fact also captured, and Weber himself quotes in a book, wonderfully titled book by Benjamin Franklin. Who was Benjamin Franklin? One of the founding fathers of modern America. Right? He was a scientist, a lawgiver and whatnot. One of the people on Mount Rushmore also, I suspect. And he wrote a very amazingly titled book named Hints to Those That Would Be Rich. Hints, some hints or necessary hints to those that would be rich. जो अमीर होने वाले हैं, उनके लिए कुछ विशेष pointers. Okay? Some necessary hints to those that would be rich. In this book, the founder of modern America, okay, or Benjamin Franklin, he explains certain virtues, a certain work ethic, which forms the basis of capitalist society or which captures the spirit of capitalism. Today they become kind of aphorisms or popular phrases like time is what? Fill in the blank. If I am a capitalist or if I am a capitalist minded person, if I make 100 rupees an hour and if I do not work for 1 hour, what does it mean? It means I have actually lost 100 rupees. Time is money. In other words, in capitalist economy, a person should not waste or idle away his time. A person who wants to be rich, should he be hardworking and industrious or lazy? Tell me. If I want to make loads of money and become rich, should I put in a good day's sweat or should I just loaf around? He must be industrious. How about credit? What should one do with credit or udhari, loaning? If you loan your money to a businessman, how will he benefit financially? Should he return your money or should he not return your money? Forget the legal implications, the moral implications. Purely from a financial angle, how does the businessman stand to benefit? He must return your money. Please appreciate and with due interest. Why? Because if he returns your money, he earns reputation. He earns credit or the right to, or the possibility of securing credit from you and your friends, the wider society in the future. So these are the characteristic traits that should a businessman be honest or dishonest? Tell me. Again, forget the moral implications. Purely from a financial angle, how does he benefit? Say, friends, I'm in the education business, right? You are my clientele. So how should my approach be to you? It can be a dishonest approach. Very frankly, you paid up the fees all right up front. Tomorrow I can shut my shop or I can start another batch, leaving you midway or rush through the topics, right? Half-heartedly. And then another batch and another batch. Should that be my approach or should I be honest in the services that I'm providing? Forget the moral, ethical dimensions of it. Forget what the teaching ethic requires. Purely from a financial angle, how will I benefit? Absolutely, friends, and I sincerely am one with Weber on this. Good businesses, sound businesses are built on a foundation of trust. Trust is acquired through honesty in one's dealings, right? So you cannot build a reputation on a flimsy or faulty foundation. If I am dishonest to you, then you will badmouth me, and I will lose my trust, my reputation in the wider society. In contrast, if I am honest with you, it may take me longer, it may require more hard work, more inputs, more resources. But then again, I will be left with satisfied students or customers. And then what will you do? You will tell your friends that so-and-so is a worthy investment, right? So these are the kind of traits, hardworking, diligent, honesty, honoring credit, keeping one's word, that are necessary. Or these are what capture the spirit of capitalism. Right? Now, so point is, friends, that capitalist system is characterized by a particular attitude towards work and towards life. And this kind of an attitude was fostered by the religious beliefs of the Protestants. Now let us try to appreciate how did the Protestant ethic contribute to the emergence of the spirit of capitalism, or it fostered the right kind of attitude towards work and towards life, which made possible the emergence of the capitalist system. I repeat slightly that in his book, Necessary Hints to Those That Would Be Rich, Benjamin Franklin outlines what Weber considers are foundational attitudes for capitalistic development, such as an attitude of working hard, diligently, sincerely, honoring one's word, honesty in one's dealings, and so on and so forth. Right? And this kind of an attitude towards work and towards life was fostered by the Protestant worldview. Now let us try to appreciate how the Protestants' religious beliefs helped to foster the development of the capitalist system. I'll give you like half a minute to wrap up and then I'll continue. Weber in fact quotes from Benjamin Franklin's book to explain what is the spirit of capitalism. Another aspect, should a businessman be frugal or should he be a spendthrift? Should he spend his money liberally or, be an Uncle Scrooge? Yes, he must be very frugal in spending. Chali. So, one of the aspects of the Protestant doctrine, Protestant leaders, they emphasized, and I quote, the finite mind of man cannot comprehend the infinite mind of God. I repeat, the finite mind of man cannot comprehend the infinite mind of God. What are we saying here? Basically that God is so mysterious, so above human comprehension, right? If you permit me हिंदी, ऊपर वाले की लीला, ऊपर वाला अपरंपार है, ऊपर वाला बहुत सियाना, आप और मैं मूर्ख. So आप और मैं क्या समझेंगे? ऊपर वाले की लीला. In other words, he is all powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. He works in mysterious ways, and you and I, we mere mortals, cannot fathom his ways. Okay, this is what the Protestants proposed or preached. Now, how does that contribute to capitalist orientation? Please appreciate. Since God is beyond human comprehension, no amount of prayer, contemplation, etc. can bridge this unbridgeable gap. So, instead of wasting one's time in trying to comprehend Him who is beyond our comprehension, what should we do? We should focus on that which we can comprehend. In other words, friends, what is within our limited human comprehension? The world around us. In other words, this Protestant doctrine inculcated a this worldly orientation amongst the Protestants. So one should not seek to comprehend God who is beyond human comprehension. Instead, you may explore the world around you. And thus, it fostered a this worldly orientation. Secondly, friends, in Catholic Christianity, there was a lot of emphasis placed on rituals, on performing rituals. Why? Because there were a large number of holy days. So, on the day in Christianity when Jesus Christ was born, and then on the date of his Immaculate Conception, when he was born, when the three wise men from the east came visiting, showered gifts, the day of his crucifixion, the day he rose from the dead, and so on and so forth. Okay, like in our Hindu religion also, there are numerous important holy days. All these holy days, they became holy days. In other words, you stop your material, this worldly, mundane activities and focus on religious rituals. So these days were supposed to be devoted to God and religious rituals. However, the Protestants argue that work itself is what? Again, another very popular saying. Work is worship. In other words, through your work, you can contribute to establishing His kingdom on this earth. It is through your work that you can contribute to God's glory. So work need not stop in order to worship Him. Work itself is a mode of worship. Thereby, the Protestants encouraged a very different kind of attitude towards work. Work began to be seen as a virtuous activity that contributed to God's glory. Any kind of economic activity. Now the capitalist system, friends, that works on the factories, they work for how many days a year? So they work for literally 365 days a year, 24/7. That incessant work ethic, right, kind of was developed by the Protestant belief system. You don't need to stop work in order to please God. Through your work, you can please Him. So work itself came to be viewed as a religious activity. Another aspect towards the Holy Bible. Now, in Catholic Christianity, Bible was exclusively accessed by the clergy or the priestly class, church officials, right? They alone could understand what was written in the Bible. It was typically in, Latin or whatever, which was not understood by the laity, by the common people, like say Hindu scriptures written in Sanskrit, which could only be understood by the Brahmins. So, the clergy or the church officials played an important role in bringing the Bible, as it were, or the word of God, to the masses. Now, Protestants, they kind of argued against a superior position in Christianity being attributed to church officials or the clergy. Their basic logic was that the ordinary person and the priest, right, the clergy, they are equally the child of God. So why should one child of God require the intermediation of another to connect with his father? So they suggested that every man read his own Bible. They gave the concept of the priesthood of all believers. Priesthood of all believers. So whoever believes in God, His Son and the Holy Spirit, okay, is a priest. And how do you become a priest? For that you must understand the word of God, or what the scriptures say. So, what did that promote? Which contributed to capitalist development. If every man has to read his own Bible, it contributed to development of mass literacy, the spread of literacy. And capitalist system requires a skilled and educated workforce. Another concept was the attitude towards usury. There's a word in the Bible called usury. And usury is prohibited in the Holy Bible. Today we all become half Christian. Okay. So usury means what? As Catholics interpreted it, usury meant giving and taking of loans and earning interest income. That was prohibited. Like, if you may be aware, living off interest income or earning interest is also considered as haram in Islam. Why is it considered as haram in Islam or equally proscribed in Christianity? Simply, who will give money? He who has excess. Who will take money from somebody else who doesn't have enough of it? So, if I am giving money to you, a fellow Christian, then, and upar se I am charging you interest for it, then I am earning money idly, without any merit, and I am exploiting you who needs money. Okay? So that is why it is like kind of prohibited. According to the Catholic Christians or the Catholic interpretation of the Bible, loaning of money and earning interest income was proscribed or prohibited. The Protestant leaders interpreted usury differently. They interpreted it to mean charging exorbitant rates of interest. In other words, according to the Protestants, the Bible did permit giving and taking of loans at moderate rates of interest or reasonable rates of interest. It only prohibited charging obnoxiously high rates of interest, which are exploited. How this contributed to capitalist development? This enabled the emergence of a full-fledged formal banking system. What do banks do? Banks basically take money on interest and give money on interest. So, say I have 5 lakh rupees, you have 2 lakhs, you have 6 lakhs, you have 10 lakhs. We will all put our money in the bank. Why do we put it? It pays us some interest in the savings account or FD. 3.5%, 4.5%, whatever. Then bank will, now Tata's require money for starting a new factory. So they will take it from the bank. The bank will give it to them at 8%, 7%, 9%, 10%. So the bank's whole business model is based on earning interest for that differential. Right? Taking money cheaper and loaning it out. And that is necessary. Why? Because this enables capital accumulation. Right? When you and I and all the retail people, those with excess money, they put their money in a bank so that they can earn interest. And then that money can be loaned to those who need it. So, since the Protestant interpretation of the Bible permitted giving and taking of loans at reasonable rates of interest, it enabled the emergence of a full-fledged, robust, and acceptable, permissible banking system. And through the banking system, accumulation of capital. Now I am coming to some of the most important concepts in Protestant doctrine from the exam point of view. One important concept. Say, if you are short on space and time, these are the concepts you will be more focusing upon. One of the most important concepts is that of predestination in Protestantism. Predestined, what it literally means, it has been already decided or destined. In Hindi, one may say likit hai. What is predestined? Whether, these are all Christian concepts, okay? Whether one is chosen for salvation or damnation. Simply put, what will happen to you after your human birth? Whether you will go to the heavens, enjoy a good life, or you will burn in hell. That has already been decided. By who? By God, even before you took human birth. Not only is it predestined, so it has already been decided, not only is it predestined, but there is nothing that you can do to change it. Now let us try to appreciate how the Protestants' religious beliefs help to church officials, right? For starting and what will happen to you after your human birth? Whether you will go to the heavens, enjoy a good life, or you will burn in hell. That has already been decided. By who? By God, even before you took human birth. Not only is it predestined, so it has already been decided, not only is it predestined, but there is nothing that you can do to change it. The Catholic Christians, okay, or Catholic Christianity, they interpreted things very differently. They argue that we can help. Right? So if you are in trouble, if you've done some part or sin, what do? You come to us through rituals, through donations to the priestly class. We will ensure your entry into the heavens. Like we also have in Hinduism. The priestly class will tell you that Somvar ko ye vrat karo, Shanivar ko safed gaay ko kala chana khilao. Right? So you perform some ritual and you will sail through to a better tomorrow. That was the orientation of the Catholic priests. But the Protestants argued that whether you will enter the heavens or hell, it has already been predestined and nothing, no amount of rituals or church visits can alter your destiny. Then what do? Now because of this, Weber says that the Protestants suffered from salvation anxiety. So they became very anxious. What will happen to me? The Protestants suffered from salvation anxiety. How to resolve salvation anxiety? According to the Protestant leaders, or the Protestant doctrine, God sends signs to those who are one of the elect. Right? God sends signs. Signs literally, sanket, or God would literally tell persons who have been selected for salvation. Those who are the elect, meaning those who have been chosen for salvation. And what is a sign from God that you are one of the elect? This worldly success or prosperity is a sign from God that you are one of the elect. In other words, to resolve one's salvation anxiety, what would the Protestant do? He would strive to be rich. Now, another important concept was that of calling. The Protestant, I repeat friends, just to clarify, the Protestant ethic suggested that it is already destined what will happen to you, right? And it cannot be changed. But you can get signs from God whether you are one of the elect. If you are successful in this world, if you prosper, that is a sign from God that you are one of the elect. So, to see oneself as one of the elect, as a sign from God, what do? You strive for this worldly success. In contrast, Catholic Christianity suggested rituals, donations to the church, prayer, church visits as the way of redemption, right? Or to absolve oneself of sins and enter the heavens, right? The Protestant belief did not offer any such help from the church officials. Okay, they in fact suggested the concept of signs from God that you are one of the elect. Another concept was that of calling. Now, calling means, friends, literally, like we say in Hindi, Mata ka bulawa aaya hai, right? Or one gets a calling. In Catholic Christianity, there was this. It was considered that some people get a calling, or they're literally called out by God to devote their lives in His service, and then they become priests and nuns. So, priesthood, nunhood, these are the ways to serve God if one gets a calling. In Catholic Christianity, the Protestant doctrine argued what? That it is not only a few select people who get a calling. In fact, everyone has a calling. What is that calling? Now, your calling is your way of serving God. It is not only the priests and nuns who serve God. Each and every one of us who believes in Him can serve Him through our work. Now, how do you serve God? Through your work, by excelling at it. Whatever you do, whatever is your duty, your religious calling, you become the best at it. You may be a teacher, but then be the best teacher in town. You may be a barber, but then there should be no better barber than you. In other words, strive for excellence. And excellence in one's professional pursuit is indicated that you are pursuing your calling diligently, or that you are serving God. You know, it is said that the classic image of a devout Protestant is not that of a priest with a rosary in his hand before the cross. It is that of a cobbler who is diligently, doing the shoe job that he is entrusted. Whatever you do, you simply excel at it. And how do you attain excellence or perfection in any field? How do you become better and better? As the old adage goes, practice makes one perfect. The more you practice, you do one thing 100 times and you will become good at it. In other words, this notion of calling of ordinary persons, that led to what? Skill specialization. Emergence of a specialized complex division of labor. So you may be merely, tightening the screws on the car plant, but then you should be the best screw tightener. And how do you do it? You take one task and you do it repeatedly. Are you with me on this? Then, the Protestant doctrine also emphasized on discipline. Discipline means what? That one should not live a very extravagant or luxurious life. One should consume in very limited amounts, only that much as is necessary. So, luxurious living was prohibited. Now, friends, on one hand, my religion tells me to excel at my vocation, pursue it like a religious duty, and strive to become prosperous. On the other hand, what am I supposed to do with that money? I am not expected to spend it on myself, to eat a lavish meal or, buy a lavish big house. Then what do I do with that money? Absolutely, I put that money back into my business, my vocation, whatever is my pursuit, so that I can further excel, so that I can further make more money, which is further reinforcement of a sign from Him that I am one of the elect. No, not even donate. Not even donate. Even charity was prohibited in Protestantism. Charity is very important in, say, a religion like Hinduism. So, daan karna is encouraged. in Hinduism. It is one of the ways of acquiring religious merit. But it was prohibited in. Why was it prohibited in Protestantism? So if I give charity to you, or let me turn it the other way, if you give charity to me, then what is happening? You are making me lazy. You are preventing me from working hard. Right? You are preventing me from contributing to His glory on this earth. So you do not spend money on yourself. You do not do charity. So what do? You simply reinvest it in the enterprise so that one can make more money from money. And then what do you do with the more money? You again reinvest it, and that is how the Protestant doctrine stimulated, fostered the spirit of capitalism. Okay? And Weber is very humble. While outlining this detailed doctrine, he does not claim that Protestant doctrine was the only causative factor. He acknowledges there are several others, but this is my limited assessment, though it was quite exhaustive. He has written tomes, like one thick book on Protestantism and capitalism, and then on Hinduism and various religions. Yet he was a very humble kind of a guy. So point is, this is Weber's analysis of how the Protestant religious beliefs contributed to the development of the capitalist system. Okay? And very quickly, how do you like this guy? In terms of his views on religion. Don't give me homilies like acha aadmi hai. Good person, no, you can't get away with that. Let us now develop a very quick critique of Weber's views on religion. Very, very quickly. And then we'll be done with the topic. Okay? A quick 2-minute Maggie type critique of Weber's views on religion. So friends, not his views on Protestant ethic, but his views on other religions have also been criticized. I'll come to the Protestant ethic after the first criticism. His views on other religions have been criticized. For example, scholars of Hinduism have highlighted that Hinduism is not necessarily antithetical to capitalist development as Weber interpreted it. Is it really, friends? Weber considered Hinduism to be otherworldly. But is it only otherworldly? Please appreciate Hinduism as a way of life also caters to various aspects of this worldly living. In fact, the 4 life goals for a Hindu are what? जो 4 पुरुषार्थ है. Okay, पुरुषार्थ means the 4 life goals. For a Hindu are dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Moksha is